Hello, everybody. It is the most wonderful time of the year. Oh, I am hidden behind these boxes. Let us pull one down. Yes, it is everybody's favorite time. Some people like Christmas. A lot of people like Halloween. Some people even like Valentine. Maybe you like Arbor Day. But for me, my favorite day of the year is the day we get our first mecha and changer from the new Super Sentai. And that is what we have today. Lupinranger versus Patranger. We have our stuff and it's gonna be good. Now you might be wondering why I have a changer and 3 individual mecha. If you haven't been watching the show, not really sure what's going on, fair question. I'll explain it to you as best I can. So Lupinranger versus Patranger, it's 2 teams of 3 rangers. And what happens is they have a lot of interchangeable parts with the mecha and with the changer. So there's actually different variants of the same toy that you can buy. So for example, we have the changer, and one of the things I've noticed with these boxes is they're kind of backwards to our normal thinking, in the sense that there's a flap here, and normally when you buy something with a flap like that, it's usually held up like this, maybe on a peg or whatever, but it goes this way for all the stuff. But so what you can do is you can walk in the store and you can buy the VS changer, versus changer, whatever you want to call it. But you can either buy it, the Patranger version, which I bought. I actually like the Lupinranger design better, but this was the only one that was available. I think a lot of people like the Lupinranger design more, so they bought that one. And in all honesty, it doesn't matter. All you really get is a second copy of the Red Ranger's mecha, and I'm pretty sure, like in past seasons, it doesn't even transform into the mecha mode. So really, you're just getting an extra mecha that you're not going to be using much anyway. And who knows, knowing me, I'm a weirdo, I might buy the other version later on down the road just to say I have them both. But, so we have that, and then we have the Red Ranger's, Ichigo. Pat Ichigo, I think it is, Ichigo, whatever. But so we have his version of the changer, and we're going to check that out, but sorry, I got a little something in my throat. But so in order to transform, all 6 rangers use their mecha. So what I also did is I bought the individual mecha for Lupinranger, so that I could use all 3 of those in the changer today, show you the difference. Now what they're also doing is, you could also get the 3 mecha for Patranger. I could have bought them now. The reason why I didn't is because there's also a release next month. There is a 7th really, mecha called Good Striker. And now he combines with either the 3 Lupins or the 3 Pat to make 1 or 2 different versions of their main mecha. So what I decided to do was because you could, instead of buying them all individually, I put in an order for the full version of the mecha in the Patranger form. So I'll get the Good Striker and I'll get all 3 of those mecha. And then I have all 3 of these individually. Now I'm sure there's people out there that are going to buy both guns and both mecha and call it good, and they'll end up with 2 guns and 2 Good Strikers. If that's your game, if you want to have 2 of the same thing, if you want to spend extra money, more power to you. Not really my thing, so I just decided that whatever I was going to do, I was going to get 1 version of the gun and then the other 3 individually and wait for the mecha. So we will have a review coming up later, probably in a few weeks, which will be of the main mecha, and then I will bring these 3 out again in order to use them on that. And I might even bring out Green and Pink's mecha to use on this gun when we get there. But for now, we're just going to check out the 3 mecha by themselves, and then we're going to use them all in the gun, okay? Hopefully that all made sense. I was rambling. That's what I do. You know me by now. But let's just check these mecha out. And let's see. Okay, we will start with red. And so as far... well, actually, let's take a look at the box again. So it's got a picture of the mecha, the actual robo that's combined, and then the individual ranger. They all are the same way. And then the back, it shows the 2 different combinations, how everything transforms. And then again, it's just showing the different ways you can use that mecha. So all the boxes are pretty similar. This one's actually a little smaller than the other 2. He's a little bit smaller. But we will open him up and check him out. Now in both forms of the main mecha combined, what ends up happening is the Red Ranger is kind of like the head and the chest area, while the other 2 are arms. I really don't think I need to look at the instructions for these. I'll just take one out and give it a quick look-see, because I don't think they're really that informative, especially right now when we haven't used the gun. I don't know. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, not a lot in here. But we'll put this back in here so I don't get them mixed up. So there's red. Put them off to the side. It's pretty simple, just one package. But they taped it up really well. Okay. Then I will bust him out. And you can see, like, the head of the main mecha, but it just folds up, and then these fold up. Yeah, I would say it's about the size of an old school Transformers, like Starscream, so to speak, you know? Not too big, not too small. And you can see there's little grooves here on the bottom, and those grooves are going to be what's going to tell the gun what noises to make when you put it in. But yeah, he's got they got little dials. The Lupins have dials on the top. They're supposed to basically look like top hats, you know, so they're like locker dials. And so you go 0, 1, 0 is going to be for transformation, but we'll get there in a minute. So there's red, and now blue, as they say on the show. Busting open blue. And I also want to say, I love for the Lupins, I love their individual, like not civilian uniforms, but like when they're out thieving. Like they have just some really nice detailed uniforms. Probably some of the best I've seen, I would say, since Gokaiger, actually. Some of the best. We're only 2 episodes in, by the way, as I am filming this. But so far, it has a very unique energy to it, I would say, in shooting style. So yeah, it's a pretty simple fold there for the arm. Just folds right up. He's got like a little Gatling gun too in the back, which is pretty neat. But again, you just fold him up. He's even got the little gyro at the front. Very cool, very nice. Kind of wish his dial had more color on it, because see how this is a nice black with a red stripe around it? I kind of wish they would have at least put a blue stripe on his, you know, and make it a little more uniform. But so he's kind of got like an old school looking plane. And then finally, yellow. So I'm going to say red's like a jet. Blue is like just a regular like Orville and Wilbur sort of plane. You know, obviously with a Gatling gun. That's different. And then yellow's, I would say, is kind of like a gyro. It's got like, you know, it's got the little fan, not fan, I don't know, fan, is that the word for this? So kind of a little gyro thing going on, so. And it also, in a weird way, reminds me of, like I said, Transformers earlier, in the sense that one team is a lot of planes, and the other team seems to be a lot of just cars. So that's a bit of a similarity right there. Let's see, pop these up. How does this go? Which way is up? On this, I'm not sure. Yeah, I got it the right way. Okay. So there's yellow. Same thing with the dial I said before. But so you've got the 3 here, and again, these are going to be used in the changer. And now we're going to take a look at the changer. A white box. I think the Lupin's one is more of a yellow box. And on the back, it's the same basic deal where it shows the different ways you can use the planes, and basically telling you that you want the mecha because they give you more versatility, more things you can do with them, all, you know, that sort of thing. Where, you know, it's really trying to, you know, give you the idea that you should buy everything. And there is a sticker on this box that has a versus. I'm not sure what. It might be like a first run thing, because sometimes they add a sticker if you like buy an item early. There's a bonus. I don't know. Maybe there's a bonus in here. I'm not sure, honestly. I didn't hear about one. I did hear that next month, if you buy stuff, you get a badge, either a V or an S for, you know, and that's the weird thing. The Lupinranger symbol's a V, the Patranger symbol's an S. Not really sure why, but yeah, you get a badge, and I think the badge actually also goes with the changer. Again, don't quote me on that. So I will take off the instructions ever so gently. Yoink. And so first off, I'll take a look at, this is our version of the this first striker. Oh, okay, so it actually does have the actual head for the robo, so you actually do get an extra one of the base mecha full on. I was wondering because, like in the past, for example, like in Tokuger, the changer came with the Red Ranger's train, and the Red Ranger's train, you know, in the mecha, it folds out and becomes the head, but the version that came with the changer didn't have that ability. So I thought it might have been that same sort of way, but apparently not, because it even has a hook to be like a arm attachment. Maybe they can change, I'm not sure. Anyway. Oh, see, this guy actually has a trigger, like, you know, so it gives you the, kind of, doesn't really do a lot. It just kind of makes it into a 6-wheel, 7-wheel vehicle, really. But there's that. Okay. And then we will put this back in to save on some space. We'll put that up here. Don't need the blade, and all right. So this is what was on the front. It's okay. It's a card that it looks like it does something with the. I think it's called Cardass or something like that. It's basically a game at the arcade that you would play in Japan. Obviously, there is a little bit of a QR code on it. It says P003. So it is a first run bonus, but it doesn't really do me any favors because obviously I'm not in Japan. But it does say in the front, you know, Kaito Sentai Lupinranger versus Keisatsu Sentai Patranger. Has little pictures of the two rangers and then the usage on the back. But obviously I don't really know what it's talking about. So it's a bonus, but not really a bonus that helps me. Sometimes the first run bonus is like actually like an extra little vehicle or something, so not as thrilling as one would hope. So here is our changer. Interesting, it's not too big, not too small. It's actually a decent size for a weapon. I honestly wasn't sure how big it would be. It's very plain looking, to be honest. You know, it doesn't really have a lot of flair to it, you know, all white design. Kind of bland in some ways, but I think that's the whole point, is that it shows off the vehicles. So I'm going to take a quick look at the instrucciones. And let's see, batteries are over here in the handle. Got my nice little screwdriver. By the way, you need one of these guys if you're ever doing these with toys. It fits into nice close little areas. You know, in case you have like the depression to put the screw in is very deep. Sometimes it is in some of these dealies. So we'll put in some batteries that I had lying around because I go to the store and I keep buying AA batteries when I need AAAs. Most stuff nowadays, it seems like, requires the AAA. The changers. When they were bigger, they would want the AAs, but okay. Got that in, and let's try it out. I didn't see the other side. Let me see it. Okay, pretty basic. Holding down doesn't do anything. So the whole deal with this is that you'd use different sides. Like, okay. Trying to figure out what's the button to push. Oh, okay, so you gotta hold this button down to change it. So when it's up like this, this is the way it's used for the Lupinrangers. And down here is the way it's used for the Patrangers, typically speaking. But first they put it in the middle to actually... Because I know like the Patrangers kind of hold it up like this. You know, when they put it in and then they move it over here and hit it. So let me try this. And there it is. I think what I like about this is that with this, so this little trigger on the back, actually, it goes with the gun. It makes it look kind of like a more complete gun, like with a bigger base, similar to like the gun that you saw in Ranger or SPD that the Red Ranger used. So it really just fits and actually makes it feel like a bulkier weapon overall. And I think that's a kind of a nice little addition, and it fits fairly well in my hand. You know, I got a pretty big hand. I'm about 6'2", you know, bigger guy, so it fits fairly well. Let's see what other sounds we have. Let's see. Okay, so it's pretty basic, unless there's more here that I'm not really seeing. I want to see what some of these, if these actually does more. Okay, so when this one is up, it basically summons the mecha. So I think that's another thing is the reverse. So when this one is on the bottom, it changes. On the top, it summons the mecha. With the planes, it's the top changes, the bottom summons the mecha. I believe. I'm not 100% sure. I believe that's what it is. And I've also noticed that on the side here, there's a V, and on the other side, there's an S. I don't know if you can see it. If I hit the button, you can see it better. So that's a nice little bit of flair there. But yeah, very, very cool. So what I want to do now is I want to just try... So let's see what we got here. So we put them on like this. So the dial didn't really, I don't think the dial actually does anything for changing. It's just, I think it's more for show or more for something else. So I'm looking at the instructions, and the instructions actually do show, oh wait, or no, maybe the dial is necessary now that I'm looking at it here. Maybe I need to hit it when it's on the side. Let's try that again. Okay, so... Okay, so what I noticed with the dial is it's actually more just the fact that you're turning it as far as actually hitting 010, because I just started turning it, and eventually it just said 010 by itself. So I don't actually have to go to 0, then 1 to 0. It doesn't look like that's the actual thing that's necessary. Now let's see if we can summon the mecha the other way. Oh wait, maybe that's not how it works. Oh, sorry. What I said earlier was incorrect. So I was incorrect earlier. They both summon the mecha from the top. It's just that this one you just had to turn to the side, then turn it back up before you do it, and you heard it went red. So let's try the other ones quickly. Sorry. Maybe it did matter. Now this, boy, I'm getting this so messed up. I want to try that. Okay, so change summoning again. Oh, wait. That's a 116. Okay, so obviously there are some bugs for me to work out. I'm not 100% sure how everything works here, but overall, I think this is just a really, really cool, innovative idea. What I have noticed, and for somebody like me who is big on cost, there isn't really a collectible in the traditional sense for this series. Like, the team has weapons. Like, each group of 3 has their own weapon, but it's not like you have to buy both weapons to get collectibles. For instance, in the past, with, say, like, Patranger, right? To get the 5 basic Ranger keys, you had to buy the belt buckle to get one, you had to buy the sword to get one, you had to buy the gun to get one. So it was very difficult if you wanted the first run deluxe keys on things. And that's how it is with a lot of series nowadays. You have to buy those extra things. So far with Lupinranger and Patranger, you haven't had to do that. Yes, there's a collectible in the sense that the mecha power the, easy big fella, power the changer, but you don't have to get everything, and everything, ugh, something in my throat. But everything is available, you know, as part of the mecha, part of the line, so it's not like extras on top of it. So I think for someone like me who's trying to be a little more fiscally responsible, that's great. I really enjoy that. And it makes the mecha seem so much more playable, so much more fun. They all actually have some decent heft to them, a decent size. They're not like giantly ridiculous like, say, a Lupinranger, but they're also not incredibly tiny. So everything is kind of pretty intermediate, and I think it works well. Like I said before, there could be some more paint applications, possibly on like these weapons that are going to be hands for the mecha. But again, that's a small nitpick. And just the fact that we have such creativity with this, and there's obviously going to be a lot more to come out of it with all of the other different mecha that are going to be showing up in the series. I even know Good Striker, the giant one, you know, he combines with it too. So there's going to be a ton of playability with this if you're a fan like me, who focuses very heavily on getting all the mecha for a series and the changer for a series. So it's a really nice dichotomy for somebody like me. I recommend it for people out there. You know, obviously, if you're just going to buy the changer, you're not going to get a ton of playtime out of it. You're just going to get one of these 2 guys right here. But if you're willing to invest, I think you could have a lot of fun with this. So honestly, guys, that is going to be it for my review of the Verse Changer and the basic Lupinranger mecha. Again, like I said at the beginning of the video, there is going to be another video to come where I basically talk about, this is there, let's just sit it down. Where I basically talk about Good Striker, the other mecha for this, and the 2 combinations of the mecha. the Lupinranger and the Patranger, I believe is what they're called. But until then, that is all I have for you guys for a few weeks. There should be another loot crate coming up within the next few days. But other than that, I don't really have a lot on the horizon. Like I said, I do have a couple of sit-down videos I want to do, and I will get to them soon. But as you've heard from other videos, I am still recovering from a broken ankle. I'm getting there, getting better. I can't really put any weight on it yet, not too much. But I'm probably about another 2 or 3 weeks out from being able to do that. But recovery is going well if anybody is interested out there. And I will be back soon with another video. Until then, as always, please just like this video, comment, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell to be notified of my new upcoming videos. And the best thing you can do for me, as always, is to just share this video with your friends and your family, people who like giant white guns and silly little planes. I'm sure there's somebody out there. Everybody likes things, right? Stuff like that. But until that moment, I am Jeremy, aka Captain Subpar, saying to you forever and always that I am going to be King of the Geeks. Ugh. As he gets up and he stumbles over there with his broken body, and he reminds you, look at that bad boy. Look at that right there. We're just gonna, a bloom, bloom. Lupin Pat, Lupin Pat, Lupin Pat.